Okay. We are live. Hello and welcome to Talk Chef. I'm one of your hosts, Reka.
I'm your other host, Jordan.
And we have an incredibly special guest today. If you've seen Top Chef, you know this guy. This is Chef Brother Luck. Thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Hey, I'm honored. What's going on? I'm stoked to be on the show and just get to chat with you all.
We are so excited to have you. We're all big fans. If you're in Colorado, you got to go to 4 by Brother Luck. I mean, my God, come on. So guys, as you know, Talk Chef is a charity show. We raise money for a different food-based charity every season, and this season's no different. This season, we are raising money for Heart of Dinner, which provides delivery and grocery assistance to the elderly Asian community in New York City. How freaking cool is that? So if you want to donate, we are dropping Jordan's Venmo handle in the chat, and she will do a big lump sum donation at the end of the season. It's at JORDANMYR1CK. That info is in the description and will be in the chat. We're going to be taking donations all night long. $1, $1,000 if you're rich. Hell yeah. Let's do it, okay?
We love when people are rich. And I do also want to say, if you're like, hey, Jordan and Reka, fuck you, I want to donate on my own, I want to get that tax deduction, do it. You can send us an email and let us know, or you could just do it and like never tell anyone. Either way, we love that. Last season we raised almost over $1,000 for Hollywood Food Coalition, so that was awesome. So let's like bring that same energy. Also, something very important, Sean is in the chat and he does want Reka and I to know that it is his birthday.
Okay, wait, Sean, happy fucking birthday. Thank you for choosing our live stream for your birthday.
This is Sean's birthday party now, essentially.
Okay, so Talk Chef has now become a birthday party for Sean, and that's actually pretty cool. So if you want to say happy birthday to Sean, actually Sean DM'd me and said you can donate to Heart of Dinner by Venmoing Jordan at the info in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So brother, that's our first little order of business. Our second order of business is something we didn't tell you.
Sorry.
Which is that just like every episode of Top Chef has a quick fire. Oh my God, sorry. A disruption. Who is this?
Oh, this is Toffee. She likes some attention right now. So
okay.
That's one of my two doodles.
She looks like a miniature horse.
Okay. She acts like a miniature horse.
Wow. Okay. That was unexpected.
So I threw you all off your game. My bad.
No. You had something that you didn't tell us about, which is toffee, and we have this that we didn't tell you about, which is Talk Chef Quickfire. So
okay.
It is not anything relating to cooking, but it is 45 seconds long, which is, I think, the fastest quickfire in Top Chef history, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've been known to take on a few in the moment. Yes. Advanced speed, supersonic type battles, but I think I can handle it.
Okay. You're gonna
love confidence.
We love the confidence. For people who don't know, wait, what is not in the top? Jason's commenting that I'm not in the Top Chef kitchen. Yeah, actually, we had to take it down for construction. They're building a broken air fryer in the back, so they needed to do that.
But this is usually what the Top Chef bar looks like. So.
Oh, yeah.
Is it artisanal speakeasy? What's happening?
I'm at the house.
It's beautiful. We're in quarantine here at the house. So this quick fire is 10 questions in 45 seconds. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, brother, maybe I don't need to try. Maybe this doesn't matter. Actually, it matters a huge deal because the prizes are incredible. One of the prizes is a deed to the Terlato wine vineyard. Okay.
All right.
We need to know, have you had Terlato wine? The wine that Top Chef for many seasons? And is there anything to say about it?
Oh, I think Terlato's phenomenal. I'm a big wine connoisseur. I like to enjoy all my beautiful tastings. My sommelier keeps me on point. So I'm excited. Yeah, I wish they would have sponsored our season a little bit more.
You were the first person that has said that they liked Terlato. We're shocked.
A lot of Top Chef competitors have not been a fan of the wine itself.
They salty about whatever they salty about.
Hey guys, this bit might have to change because maybe Terlato wine is good. The whole joke I was gonna make is you went OD'd to a wine vid. You're into the smallest bottle you can buy is 75,000 gallons, like a Carlo de Rossi.
Hey, I grew up drinking Rossi. You know, I'm just saying, like.
Hey, you better believe I have a jug of that in my apartment.
Little EJ, little Rossi, you're good.
Oh yeah. So that's the first prize you won. The second prize you can win is your own suite of slightly broken GE appliances, just like on the show. You get a fryer that doesn't get up to temp, an oven that mysteriously drops temperatures or it's set to steam.
You don't know.
Ooh,
this sounds like the food truck challenge.
Yes. Your power's gonna turn off. Your fry bread's gonna be all crazy. It's a whole mess.
You know, the funny part too, they were like, you guys won't even be judged on that, it's not your fault. And then we ended up in the bottom, and I think Rogelio got sent home that day.
Yes, he did. Specifically for a temperature issue, I believe.
Yeah.
Corn dish. Listen, I watched too damn much of this show. Okay. So brother, are you ready for your 45-second quickfire?
Hey, let's get it.
Okay. The timer will start from the moment Jordan finishes question 1.
Was this drive-in elimination challenge easy or hard?
I think it was easy.
Rose, for smelling or for eating?
Smelling.
What is something you would mix with Rose flavor-wise?
Oranges.
What's your favorite movie?
Last Dragon.
What genre would you have chosen in this challenge?
Horror.
What's better on Top Chef, a smaller team or a bigger team?
Smaller team.
Drive-in movies or movie theaters?
Drive-ins.
If food is horror themed, is it okay if it tastes ugly or it looks ugly but tastes good?
Yeah, that's inspiration.
Would you drink a milkshake before having sex with someone?
Absolutely not.
Jordan and Reika, the best hosts.
I'm sorry to catch the last question.
Okay, we'll count this as a win, but the last question is, are Jordan and Reika the best podcasters?
Absolutely.
We were like,
all day
wow,
long.
Such a heavy pause. We're gonna give that to you. We're gonna give that to you, brother, especially because you were doing dog interference there. We really appreciate that.
I am. They're crazy right now. Let me kick them.
Oh my God, Toffee!
Yeah, her and Lucy both.
Wow. Well, thank you did so well. Thank you on the quick fire, which is a crazy
No, that was
Tom would never say that, but you did a great job.
You did.
I mean, that was like, I feel like Steve Harvey was about to ask me, like, you know, Family Feud questions, like, I was right in my buzzer.
Jordan and I are the Steve Harvey of cooking show live stream.
Exactly. I will get Miss America wrong.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so let's just dive right in with this quick fire.
Let's go. And also I wanted to say brother, I think your camera turned off. Oh, there you go. I wanted to say too, for those who don't know, brother, again, Top Chef Colorado is a really fantastic season.
Incredible.
And brother is the Last Chance Kitchen. Like, I think you are the champion, right? You have won the most.
I'm the boogeyman. That's what I am. I'm the Last Chance Kitchen boogeyman.
True.
Like, they don't even want me to do Last Chance Kitchen no more because it just ain't fair.
It literally is. You have won more Last Chance Kitchen episodes than any person in the whole show's history.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I've done like 12 rounds of Last Chance Kitchen between 2 seasons back to back like that. And I got robbed by Big Flam. You know, I love my brother to death, but he snuck one on me.
Yes.
And I came back for the Kentucky season and ended right back in the show.
Yes.
Wow, that's so hard too, because Last Chance Kitchen, for anyone out there who doesn't know, once you get eliminated, you go into Last Chance Kitchen. In the last few seasons, they've done this, and it's only you against the other most recent person who's been eliminated. So you can't ride the middle like you can for a big portion of Top Chef. You have to either come out number 1 or you're done.
Yeah.
They told me, they said, you know, Last Chance Kitchen is all about luck. It's just missing you. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
It's all
That's all
about
me.
brother luck, baby.
I was like, you're the man. You're the luck.
No, that was my show for the Colorado season and the Kentucky season. That was my show.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a blast doing it. It was a good time. It was definitely a good time. Actually, I like Last Chance Kitchen better than I like doing the actual show. It's more real. It's more straight up.
Yeah.
You mean you don't have to do a challenge that's like
porta potty?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cook upside down in a porta potty with Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yeah, we want you to cook for Logan Paul. Like, okay, like, come on now. I'm a chef. Why am I cooking for this movie?
Worst guest I've
ever been on the show. I remember watching it with my parents, and we were all just like, "This is nauseating."
I remember
nobody knew who he was. Like, you know,
having to see him talk to like Padma Lakshmi and Tom Colicchio earnestly about food, and him just be like, "I love waffles," and they're like, "Mm-hmm."
Yeah, they were so annoyed on set. It was pretty funny to watch. Like, we were all just cracking up because nobody knew who he was. And you know, I mean, I had to ask my nephews, my little 13-year-old nephews, when I got back home. I was like, "Who's Logan Paul?" And they're like, "Oh, him and his brother." Like, you know, just annoying YouTubers.
That is simply such delightful BTS that everyone was equally like, huh?
Absolutely.
Incredible. So yes, let's dive in, as Jordan suggested hours ago. Our quick fire right up top. We got to work with Rose. What do we think of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough ingredient, you know, because it's so floral and it's so dominant, but it does, like, I think Richard hit it spot on when he was like, you know, it smells like a grandmother's purse. Like, it's like the pediatric or the podiatrist's office. That's what it smells like. It's just, it's a tough ingredient. But, you know, I think all ingredients are ingredients. You have to be able to balance them and find unique ways to display them. And when you look at a lot of Middle Eastern cooking, you know, you find lots of inspiration there. So, you know, I think Fatih would have had a blast with this challenge. She would have murdered us all.
Fatima Ali, Top Chef Colorado, Pakistani street food chef. Incredible. Truly watch Top Chef Colorado.
Yeah, it's an incredible season. Yeah, I agree. I think it's hard. I don't particularly like it. I've had it in some, you know, like brother was saying, Persian food, or like when you go to like Tarangelis, there's some cool ice cream shops that do ice cream that incorporates, you know, rose and saffron and different things that I think are all, I've liked that. But in general, I have no desire to cook with it. And I think outside of that cuisine, I don't want new American in general, but especially with rose in it, I'm not interested in that.
I think it could work. I think if you were playing around with a tuna tartare, you're playing around with a beef tartare, it could work.
Yeah,
really well in there. Those floral notes.
Fine, will come.
Yeah, a little buffalo tartare, a little rose water vinaigrette. I think we can make it happen.
I think you have the right attitude. Jordan and I have talked about this a lot, where like with these challenges, if you kind of get stuck and you're like, that's so stupid, or that's such a hard challenge, if you kind of just go like, who are the people that use this ingredient? What do they use it with? Like, you see a lot of people pair it with pistachios, right? Like, that's a pretty classic combination. I think that's like your inlet, and like, okay, cool. Maybe I don't cook Persian food. South Asian food uses, I'm South Asian, you know, rose water and a lot of its desserts and stuff. You know, maybe like Avishar, I thought it was very funny. He's like, I've banned rose water from my restaurant. He's also South Asian. And I was like, oh, that's a big deal. You really... But finding that way that for you to like something is such a key, it seems like, to a lot of these challenges. Yeah, and we get a lot of interesting stuff out of this one. So we'll just go right down the dishes, and you say if you think it sounds good, thumbs up. If you think it sounds bad, thumbs down. Very loose criteria. If you're like, it sounds good, but that's not a Top Chef dish, you can be like, no. If you're like, I'd eat anything, great. So Chris, he makes, I'm going to say this wrong, labouille, which is like a cornmeal porridge with some rose water and candied pistachios.
No, that was so Creole. I mean, I was feeling that one. I mean, that was all Haitian right there.
Yeah, it really reminded me. There's a lot of like Indian sweets around, like rice pudding, like a payasam, or like kheer and stuff like that. It really reminded me of that, and it looked good to me. Byron made crab salad with rose and a pistachio agrodolce.
I could see it working.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I don't like rose. That all these things, I'm like, oh, that sounds delicious. If there was no rose,
but you have to use it. You know, that's
know.
the thing about Top Chef. You don't have a choice. Like, it's not real cooking. It's not like you like sitting there writing dishes for like something you're gonna work on for the next 6 weeks. It's like, hey, here's rose petals. Go.
Oh,
I guess it sounds good. I like crab. I like pistachio.
And I will say this introduced me to a lot of different types of rose products. Because I was aware of rose water and like actual roses, but I hadn't known of rose salt.
Salt, yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, I would try that.
Yeah. The rose sugar. I think that was another one
there. Jamie made a Mama's Imperial roll, which was pork, shrimp, and mushroom filling with rose salt and a vinaigrette.
This sounded good to me.
Pretty good to me.
Yeah, sound good.
Yeah. Sarah made a fancy salad of grilled romaine, a rose yogurt vinaigrette, and a pistachio rose crumble.
Yeah, she was trying to get some Carrie points right there.
Your fancy toast. Yeah.
Yeah. Carrie was the judge. Got to play him up.
Exactly. This sounded maybe a little too rosy to me, but I guess that's the challenge. Avishar made sole with a hollandaise and asparagus infused with rose.
I almost think the hollandaise infused with the rose might have been a little bit better because it would have worked well in the reduction versus the asparagus.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's really pushed some buttons in my brain because hollandaise and fish are two of my favorite things, and so I was like, yum. But then the idea of eating fish with rose, like cooked sole with I was like, I don't know, but it still sounds good. I'm like, you went for it.
Well, I think the most important part, just, you know, in general, working with something like that's really floral, is you got to cut it with a lot of vinegar. And I think agrodolces or reductions turn into hollandaises. Like, those are things that are going to cut through a lot of that floral and be able to complement a sweet without it being overpowering.
Hey, hot tip for anyone cooking with florals. Chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Use a lot of vinegar type flavor profiles. Okay, so Gabriel made a cured snapper with a hibiscus rose juice and rose pickles.
That sounds delicious.
Rose pickles was like a little like a ratatouille moment where he learns about a new food. You're like, whoa, rose pickles.
Nah, you know, it makes me think of Chris Scott makes Kool-Aid pickles, and he actually they're so delicious. So I mean, I can see it working with rose as well. You know, it's just a little red Kool-Aid, a little rose petal. I think it'll work delicious.
Ooh, another.
I don't think they have that in the pantry though.
Yeah,
they don't have Kool-Aid in the Top Chef.
It's not a sponsor. Hidden Valley though.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Chris Scott, he was on the show, and honestly, he could feed me a plate of dirt, and I would eat it.
I would absolutely eat a plate of dirt from Chris Scott. We still have to eat ice cream with him. He's a big ice cream fan.
Yeah, he
loves his ice cream. You know, because he doesn't drink. So ice cream is like his social event of the night. So we'd be like, we're going to the store to get some wine. He'd be like, we'll be back some Blue Bonnet. Like,
he invited us. He was like, come, because Reka's from Philly also, even though we're both in LA now. And he was like, you two come to Philly, and then we'll drive like an hour north and go to this ice cream restaurant all together. And
you should do it. Chris will do it.
Like, okay, well.
Okay, you don't have to beg me.
Yeah, we'll come.
Yeah, I'll eat ice cream till I die. That sounds great. Okay, so then Maria made an arugula salad with a rose vinaigrette and crusted shrimp and rose sugar papaya. This sounded great to me.
Yeah. And I can see it. You know, there's a lot of blue tortillas coming out right now that are actually hibiscus flavored. So I could see it working really well. Shrimp.
Yes, I agree. And Maria, you know, must mention they were giving her a big elimination edit in this episode as if she were going to be eliminated, talking to her family. I was like, no. And it's not what happened, because I think they've caught on after 18 seasons that we always can tell who's going home from the
podcast now. So they're like, okay, They got us.
Yeah. Okay. Nelson makes Puerco Criolla, excuse me, which was like sweet plantains, butterfly pea flour beans, and the beans had rose in them.
Mm-hmm.
This
Dang.
sounds good, but just maybe not the challenge because it didn't have enough
Yeah.
rose.
I think Nelson's killing him, man. He's somebody I'm gonna probably hit up and bring out to Colorado. I mean, we all from the town, we all from Oakland, so
Yeah.
he got some. I thought it sounded delicious. I like what that man does.
We are big Nelson fans. We think he's not like a like look at me contestant, so he's not getting a lot of airtime, but all his food looks so good.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the one, not the one. I mean, I would eat any of these people's food because it looks delicious, but he's a person where I'm like, oh, if I lived near you, I would go to your restaurant once a week.
Constantly. Yes.
Because the food to me seems so consistent and so good.
Yes.
I'm just like, I would be there. Yeah, I'd be there all the time.
Yes. And I love what he makes in the elimination challenge. Shota makes a rose mochi ball with rose syrup and rose water yuzu fruits.
No, Shota had an advantage, man. He's, you see that a lot in Japan. They, especially playing it with mochi at such a smart call. Shota, he's. I mean, he's always. I mean, when you look back to like when he first came out on Iron Chef America, like Shota's, or what was it, Iron Chef Gauntlet or something like that. Like he's super talented.
I didn't know he was on Iron Chef. We are also huge Shota fans. We love him. Yeah, a mochi ball. I mean, that's just such a smart.
So smart.
Made mochi, but in my mind, this seems like a very impressive dish to get done in the amount of time they had. Maybe mochi's really easy to make, and I could be completely misled, but that's the vibe it gave off.
I feel like he knocks out a lot of stuff that I assume takes longer. When he made that dim sum on that short order cook challenge, yes. Shota, we'll go to your restaurant. Okay. Dawn made a fennel and rose fritter with macerated peaches and rose cream. I would eat it.
They all sound, they're all professional chefs. It better sound good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then Gabe made rose of turbot cured in rose and smoked in rosebuds.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked beautiful. He really plated the shit out of that. Yeah, so on the bottom, it was Maria, Sarah, and Nelson. Top was Byron, Chris, and Gabe, and the winner was Chris.
I think the thing unique about when you're doing quick fires is they're fast.
Yeah.
And you maybe get you might have 5 minutes to think on it, because as soon as Padma does the intro of hey, here's what your fire challenge is with the guest, you break for rules, and rules are usually either done right there in the kitchen by the producers. So they walk around and say, all right, here's what it is. They run through a step by step, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. Then you sign off on it. Everybody says, yes, I agree. And then the round starts. So a lot of things can happen in that short amount of time that you're trying to pull off. Plus, you're trying to keep your station clean, and you're, especially when early in the season, everybody's there. That kitchen's packed. I mean, there's bodies just flying everywhere, pots and pans. It's surreal to be in a quick fire, especially in the beginning of the season.
Do you have a favorite quick fire that you guys did, or a least favorite?
Yeah, I think back to the Mise en Place challenge. That relay race was a lot of fun because we had to do a variety of knife cuts, and Bruce trying to butcher that fillet and getting the weights wrong, and it's timed, and then whatever time was left is what you had to actually cook a dish with all those ingredients. But it was just fun, sitting there brunoise and mushrooms and just all that shit, all the stuff we did. It was a good time.
Hell yeah. Was there a least favorite quick fire?
Yeah, the episode I got kicked off on, that sucked. Uh, I think that one they made us do like here's a recipe, here's your menu from home from your restaurant.
Oh, yes.
Like you have to cook it in 30 minutes. And that I had for me they picked pie. And I was like, fuck, I'm gonna pull pie off in 30 minutes, you know. And I'm like trying to pull this thing off, and yeah, it's crazy. But you know, that's the game.
Yeah. That felt like one of those challenges where like, I don't know if this is possible.
Actually, take that back. I think the worst challenge I had to do was cooking with those stupid little kid toy.
The kids' toys when you cook for those chefs 3 kids.
Yeah, you know, like I am a giant man. I'm not a little, and to like put my hands around these
little things.
Play-Doh, easy bake ovens and
Yeah.
little whisks, and it was the dumbest thing. The cutting board was this big. Like, what are we doing? You know,
This is one of those quick fires that's definitely like a gimmick over food. Like, you know, it has nothing to do with being a good chef to be able to cook on a tiny cutting board or whatever.
Yeah.
Very funny. All right, so hopping right along into the elimination. Catering a drive-in movie theater, and the movie that they're watching is the chefs. And the food that you make has got to be something that's eaten comfortably and not messily in a car. I think this is a cool idea for a challenge. And you have to be inspired by the film genres comedy, drama, action, sci-fi, horror, and romance. What do we think? You said you thought this was an easy one, brother.
yeah, and I think it's smart too, especially during the pandemic. Like, how do you create a cool challenge? I mean, shouts out to the producers for coming up with this one, because I think they were able to do, you know, socially distanced. They were able to have a unique way to present what they were doing, but also incorporate something that was appropriate. You know, the tough part, and I could speak from experience, is I don't think a lot of people heard that most important part of the challenge, which was something that's messy and to eat in the car. And you know, when you're going through rules and when you're listening to the challenge, I mean, I've been kicked off twice for not listening to the rules. You have to pay attention to what they're saying the challenge is. The challenge is the challenge. Don't change it. Don't try to alter it or make it something else. Like,
I think people ignored a couple parts of the challenge. Like some people straight up made a messy, sticky dish that you had to eat with your hands, which is like not the challenge. And then some people were like, here's sort of the genre. You know, you can eat it with your hands, but some of these genres were also a lot harder than the others for sure.
I'm it on your,
no, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Right. You got to think beyond that. Like, somebody says, I want you to make a dish that is action inspired. And, you know, think about the actual interaction. What is the guest going to do when does it explode when they get it, you know, like a pop of confetti or something? Like, there needs to be that kind of thought process that goes into it. But, you know, when you're put on the spot like that, and then you have to write a dish within like 20 minutes, and then, you know, it looked like they gave them the challenge right after the quick fire. And then, you know, they were writing their courses right there in the prep kitchens before they went shopping. So, I mean, that's tough because you got to write on the spot. So you don't have a lot of time to think about, you know, the actual dish and the composition of it.
Totally. I think that's a great point. Because yeah, like for action, that is one that is very it's not like going to be a visual element necessary, or it could, but it's going to be a lot about like your interaction with the guest. And if you have to think kind of that far ahead in your dish planning when you like just did a quick fire 40 seconds ago, yeah, that's a lot. It's a big ask. And clearly it was a big ask because some of these people didn't totally do the challenge. Let's see. I will say that we get this little moment of Jamie suggesting that maybe she could do a White Castle like burger for comedy, which I thought was a great idea. Like take an iconic food from a comedy and then just like make it really nice. And then Gabriel was like, no, just putting that out. You know, whatever, team challenges.
You got to be able to stand on your feet when you get into those team challenges. Like, don't be afraid to argue. I mean, somebody's getting sent home. So speak up, because otherwise it's going to be you.
Totally. Totally. And it was just sort of Gabriel has had a little bit of an interesting edit thus far in the series or in the season of like no spices sort of is his personality. Yeah. So for him to also like be like no Jamie, that's a bad idea. I was like, well, Gabriel, maybe we should all take a little moment. Let's see. Okay, great. So genre 1. First of all, the Academy Award goes to Padma Lakshmi for all these incredibly beautiful, strange introductions to the genres. Oh boy, I had a really good time watching those. Put those online. Let me green screen myself in the back. It seems real fun.
Really cool about watching that was I think the experiences I've had with Padma on the show, off the show, that's truly who she is. She is funny. She's genuine. She's approachable, and she's willing to be humorous and let her guard down. So I thought that was like the highlight of the show was her.
Don't tell me that.
We love her so much.
So sick.
This is wow. Okay, wow. We're both heating up. Okay, great. So genre 1, by the way, they're split up into the yellow and the green teams. Yellow team is Shota, Jamie, Sarah, Gabriel, Nelson, and Chris. Green team is Dawn, Avishar, Maria, Gabe, Byron. So they have one less person. Genre 1, comedy. The yellow team, Jamie, makes sticky fried chicken wings and a fish sauce glaze. It sounds good, not good for the challenge when you have the word sticky in it.
I think where she tried to sell it, was the whole rubber chicken, but yes. I mean, it's got to be a bomb piece of food either way. And totally. It wasn't, she should have trusted her gut. She said she should have cooked it twice and she didn't.
Yep.
Once again, don't listen to other people tell you how to cook your food.
Yep. It's true. It's really true. And it's such a relatable situation because you're in any work environment and the same kind of shit happens, but I see it on Top Chef. I'm like, don't listen to him. And then at work, I listen to somebody or whatever.
Yeah. I do really have to say that Elaine commented in the chat, Padma, and then I just saw the word Padma in the chat, and for 1 second, I did truly in my heart of hearts think she was in the chat.
You never know. She could be.
Absolutely bonkers.
Maybe she's just held off for months, like say anything. She's like, I'm shy. I don't want.
Yeah, she's just watching. For 1 second, I was like, she's here.
Yes, very bummer moment to see that happen with Jamie's dish. And on the green team, Byron also had the same idea of making chicken. What's funny is in their like talk beforehand, and I realize a lot of action happens in between them prepping and coming up with the ideas and then cooking and presenting. His idea was a Korean style gochujang fried chicken. And the whole like reason that was comedy was he's like, oh, it's kind of funny, KFC, Korean fried chicken. Didn't even say that in the intro. So it is just like chickens are funny, chicken wing, funny bone, rubber chicken, something. Sure. Byron, that.
I felt like it was about the puns. And if you could deliver those puns when you're doing your descriptors, because the story does make the sell of your dish. And also the judges take into account some of that, you have the choice to like, be like, nah, screw that up. Or no, this is exactly what it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Puns,
it was supposed to be a rubber chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Genre 2, drama. Oh my God. When Padma was like, food, you can't handle the food.
You're like, I can't.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. On the yellow team, Chris made harissa barbecued ribs with crispy shallots and pickled celery. Again,
good to me.
Sounds so good.
Delicious.
But again, and also like maybe ribs inherently sound extremely messy for a car. So I'll give it a middle. Dawn made a duo of popcorn. One was duckskin furikake. I'm going to say that wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you. Popcorn and spiced caramel popcorn. Say again.
That sounded delicious.
That's really good. I was kind of like, I don't know if I was super excited for popcorn to be made as like an option at this challenge.
Movies, that's like, I would have done a popcorn. I mean, that total sense. Like, it's something that you can eat, something that feels appropriate. It's something that she elevated by throwing in those cracklings and the fur. all that umami flavor that's in there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you imagine like eating a Garrett's popcorn in Chicago where it's like cheesy. Like she created a salty, sweet, savory type popcorn. I thought that was
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like I agreed with the judges in terms of how they were like, this is all she did in X amount of time. And then they tasted it and they were like, oh, but it's really good.
And then Tom
So you
tipped
can't
the rest of it
really-
into his mouth.
yeah, you like can't really fault it. And if I can just backtrack for 1 second, I do want to say, I know that this a little bit contradicts what brother said, so I'm sorry, brother. But I am like, every food's messy to eat in the car. Like, I get that some things are less messy than others, but I'm just like, I don't know. I felt a little bit, I was like, it feels like we're a little hung up on this. Like, you eat a chicken wing, you have a wet nap.
Well, I was gonna say, if they
had,
could they have given everyone a wet nap? Is that allowed, or is that like, no, you still made it too messy that I needed a wet nap? I don't know.
You never know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, though, it was very specific. Is don't make it messy in the car. Like that was parts of the challenge.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I'm just like, I wish they didn't care.
Yeah.
It's a German egg roll, and I thought it was a wine pairing or cocktail pairing, not a, make an interpretation of the drink.
Yeah.
You know what they're telling you.
Damn, that's the game. Okay, genre 3 was action. To me, a difficult to accomplish genre. And
punches them in the mouth. Like,
okay, that's where the story comes in. Because Gabriel, okay, so similar to what you said, Gabriel made cauliflower tots with a Vaudeman curry yogurt and a Calabrian chili oil, or sorry, aioli, excuse me. And the action was that you dip. If they had tasted good, I guess they get away with saying you can dip it. If it doesn't taste good and your explanation is you can dip it, that's a double whammy.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I think working in something as cliche as like Pop Rocks would have made sense there, because now there's an act. As you're eating it, something's happening, and I think that's taking action to another level. But when you're in that setting, man, it's quick.
Yeah.
Write that fast on the fly, and then have to execute the dish that you wrote on the fly.
Yes.
Is even.
Yes.
He's allowed to shop. I mean, they didn't. There's no Whole Food shopping because of COVID. So, they had people going out to get their grocery list. So it's even more challenging there.
Yeah.
You can't. Usually, when we're shopping, we're editing our dishes. We wrote something in the studio, but now we're okay. No, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna buy this instead. They didn't get that option.
Yes, you don't get to be inspired by like produce or like whatever is at the store. That's a great point.
I haven't even thought about that, but I think that's so true too. Like, you're trusting someone else to like pick out your scallops, or you know what I mean? Whereas normally, if you like got there and the scallops weren't up to your level, you would just make a change and go for something other than scallops. But yeah, you can't do that. Wow, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, wow. I mean, quality-wise, I wouldn't worry about that. You have very high-level culinary producers who have all been on the show, so they're former contestants.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Sandy Birdsong.
Yeah, Jamie, they've all been on the show before. So,
Maria for this challenge made a Sonoran hot dog with a homemade bun.
She's that culinary gangster. # culinary gangster. Like
homemade bun
and sausage, a homemade sausage and a homemade bun.
That's crazy for people who are new to Top Chef. Like, anyone who can make bread on this show is like a big fucking deal. Like, if you can, bread is such an intensive thing. Sometimes it's its own challenge on the show.
Well, and the thing that impressed me the most is when you're cooking on those stations. And they made a small mention of this in the episode. You have those little itty bitty, toaster ovens. They're not real ovens, and they have like the 60-minute timer, and extremely hot. There's like one infrared sensor in there, and those things are not even. So not only to make the dough, rise the dough, but then also to bake them in a small itty bitty section. calling her Gangster of the Week.
Truly. And she won. I don't even remember what was action about it because her yeast rose. I don't even remember. But I mean, I think that's the point. Like, if it's really, really good, they're not really gonna like. They can't really knock you. For sorry.
She was showing the action. She had the action and the amount of work she.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes. Fourth genre, sci-fi. Nelson made, this really made me laugh, an unidentified Dominican object, like a UFO, a UDO, of jerk pork, corn, and candied yams, sort of formed into like a patty. That looked great.
I love a patty of food.
Yeah, no, it was smart. It was, made total sense.
I thought it was great. And then Avishar made a version of s'mores where he made burnt marshmallow ice cream, a liquid graham, and milk chocolate. This looked awesome.
This sounded incredible.
And it seemed like a really close race between them because Avishar's was like extremely sci-fi in how it was made and presented. Avishar has like a science background and used a lot of like molecular gastro. And then Nelson's was just like, a UFO kind of shape, but also tasted very good. Nelson squeaked by with the win on this one, but they both looked really good.
Tom thought Avishar's was, I think.
Tom was going ape for Avishar's dish. He was like, really? Like, Tom is married to this dish after this evening.
It really made you question, was it really like, because that would have won, that the challenge would have been over.
It would have been. That's
ended the time.
No, that's a question I was gonna ask. Like, because like Top Chef, a reason I love Top Chef is it does as many goofy challenges as there are. It does seem to like really just be about the food. If someone's got a terrible personality, they can still do well or win or whatever. It's really just about their food. But I do wonder with something like this, because for those who haven't seen the episode, basically it was like by this point, the green team had 3 points. If they won this 4th round, they would have taken the whole thing and we would not have even seen round 5 and round 6. So Nelson winning 1 point for the yellow team here made it so that we had to see all 6 genres. Is that something?
Yeah, I agree with brother. I think it feels a little bit sus. And also I'm just like, as you know, love Nelson. I'm sure Nelson's was absolutely delicious. I think for this specific challenge, Avishar's dish was so much more creative, and both of them seem to be good in taste. So I'm like, Avishar's dish were so much more like on challenge, and they both were good. I felt like Avishar should have won, and so yeah, I agree with that.
Well, the thing you also got to consider too, though, is they weren't the rankings. Who was winning didn't really seem to be about the theme. It was more about the taste, and they had everybody in the cars ranking it digitally on their phones. So if Nelson had a dish that was bigger and brighter and tasted a lot better, he probably edged it out with just that, because I don't think anybody in their cars were thinking about, oh, is this a horror themed
right.
So this is good. I'm a guest on Top Chef.
Yeah.
I get to
Do you think though, if you're at judges table, or if you're Tom Colicchio and you're also like, a high level part of the show, are you thinking like, if this dish doesn't win, we can't actually see the next rounds? Do you think that is ever part of it, or do you think they just go straight?
There's a lot of integrity in that show.
Yeah.
So hard to ensure that, they take everything into account. They want it to be fair. We all get mad when we get off, but at the end of the day, like, they do a lot of work to ensure that it's fair. And it's producers and it's the judges, and it's a number of things that go into that decision, but they discuss it, and I don't think there's an issue of their integrity there. I think he's a little bit bigger than him.
We love that. Genre 5, horror. On the yellow team, Shota made Firstly, I'll tell you Shota's story, which was like, my, my worst nightmare is something happening to my dog. Uh, so I made a cheesy, bloody, like corn dog. So it was like a Japanese bechamel with a cheddar cheese corn dog with like a black, was it like sesame kind of exterior?
Yeah.
It looked crazy. I would absolutely try that. I think he really embraced something horrific. It sucks that it didn't taste good.
Halloween burgers at Burger King, like
That's true.
those black buns. Yeah, it's not a beautiful looking dish, but I think he had a literal interpretation of like, this is horror. I'm gonna make it look fucked up, and he did.
He certainly made it look fucked up.
Yeah, I'm like a cheesy corn dog, 100%.
Yes. And then Gabe made a Mexican campechana, oysters, scallops, Dungeness crab, and charred shrimp in a little cup. It looked good.
I didn't get that one. Like I get where he was like trying to say like it's it's just everything together and it's red, but it didn't have the same effect that Shota's did.
I think this is another one that didn't really hit a genre that I would have pegged as maybe one of the easier ones, because it can just be visual and plating, it seems like, to make it horrific looking. Yeah, because this kind of just looks like a normal dish Gabe would have made. So in the end, the judges didn't really like either of these dishes too much, but Shota got the win.
I think that was good. I think his dish was more creative.
I think it was very creative. Okay, and then genre 6, our final genre, romance. Sarah on the yellow team made a Your Place or Mine milkshake, which was a chocolate hazelnut milkshake with a strawberry miso whip. I'm all over this, but I do agree. I do agree with our quick fire question about like if I were to have a milkshake before any romancing, and I think the answer has to be no, for sure.
Worked the pun really hard, and I think that worked to her advantage. And everybody blushing.
I think a milkshake before a hookup can only happen when you are 17 years old.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, you will have to go to the hospital.
You can't imagine like two 45-year-olds having like two giant milkshakes or like blizzards from Dairy Queen. And
no, you would die. I would die. If I ate a blizzard and then it was like, quick, you have to have sex, I would be like, I can't. What's going to happen has to happen, because
I can't. They put extra Oreos in.
I can't. It's wild. So I thought that was very funny that her theme of like of everything she could have chosen, she was like, so let's hook up, drink this thick chocolate milkshake.
Well, it is like the 1950s, like two people sharing, or like the friends from Friends or whatever, but they don't have sex after that in that picture of the friends.
You don't know what the friends from Friends do.
That's true. And then on the green team, this was kind of a group effort of everybody. It was a churro with chicken liver mousse, and then a strawberry sauce and a dulce de leche sauce.
The chicken liver mousse was just weird. Like, who co-signed that one? I mean, like as chefs, I think there's this really tough stigma that a lot of us we feel it on our shoulders of trying to top the Vegas season, right? Everybody wants to top the Voltagios, right? They came in, made insane food, and it was so cutting edge. And everybody has come in, and that's where we all get in trouble. Is we're trying to flex and do all these crazy things. A lot of them don't work. Like when you should just make something simple. And I think if they would have left that off, it would have worked really well. But
I think the idea of doing a savory dipping situation for that churro in addition to sweet ones is really cool. But if it's filled and you have to mix the chicken liver with like the strawberry, yeah.
Well, it works. I mean, because like we have pates and we have foie gras mousses that are always served with preserves, so it works. right? The flavors work. That's not the issue. The challenge though is like you're talking about romance, not horror, and I think that immediately makes people think like, ugh.
Yeah.
Or they actually get to the point of eating it and go, oh, this works. You know,
Right.
I also think the dulce de leche and the fruit preserves, I think it was just too much. I think they should have done, and even the way it was served, like the foie gras in the preserves, that looked bad to me. I'm like, do the churro, stuff the churro with foie gras, and then dip it in a preserve. I think if they were really stuck on that idea, maybe would have been more palatable to me at least.
Yeah, it had the elements of a PB&J. I mean, it could have worked.
Yeah.
Ooh, they should have called it that, like a little romance between PB&J, but elevated. That's the grade school. This is the like adult.
Oh, never mind. Nothing. I was gonna say DBNJ, and then I was gonna say duck butter NJ, but I think duck butter is a sex thing.
I think that's truffle butter, but
Okay, anyone who's savvy, pop it in the chat. What's truffle butter? You can tell us.
Okay, no, duck butter.
Beautiful. Love it. Wow.
later.
Yeah. This really is the romance category. Okay.
That's so beautiful. Also, I did Google it, and I'm not wrong. Duck butter is a thing. Okay, it's all true. It's all true, and it's all beautiful.
Okay, cool.
Love is beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I got from this challenge.
And
okay.
So is butter, honestly.
So Sarah won that category. So it's a 3-3 tie between the green and the yellow team. So the winning dish of all 12 dishes or whatever gets to decide which team wins. So the winning dish, so surprising to me, not for any like him, but just like it didn't seem that exciting to me, was Byron's dish, the gochujang fried chicken.
Yeah.
Good for Byron. He seems great.
Yeah.
So the green team won. And then Tom had to say that Avishar's dish was Tom's favorite dish conceptually. He's marrying it that evening, eloping. Finally, Maria gets some props at the judges' table for her hot dog and making that bun. They did not like Gabe's dish. That's kind of like the first negative criticism he's gotten all season. So
he's such a beast.
I think he might win the whole thing. I mean, I feel like you can show Tom like a new thing that he's never seen. Like him and Shota right at the bat were showing stuff that like they were like, whoa, what's this? How did you do this? Which I thought was so cool.
Yeah. People that are, especially recently, the ones that embrace their cuisine the most, and then allow their cuisine to shine, are the ones that are. Look at someone like Eric from Kentucky, and he's cooking, West African Ghana food, and it evolves as he's cooking throughout the show. Like he gets really far on that. I think you're going to see a lot of that with Mexican cooking, with Japanese cooking in this season. They're very comfortable with who they are, but they're able to transform it into a very Michelin style presentation, which is what Top Chef wants.
And they're able to meet the challenge. Like Shota is such a great example during the West African or Pan-African challenge. He makes a dish that everyone goes, this looks Japanese. But when they tasted it, they're like, this tastes like West African food. Because he latched on to a thing. He was like, oh, pickled cabbage. This is like a really cool connection I'm making. And yeah, I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the bottom, Gabriel, Chris was told that he was lucky he had immunity. Shota, no, and Jamie. I love a lot of these people. I was really worried about Shota. I don't know what I would do.
That would have been bananas.
That people would have, our millions of fans would have had a riot. They're all Shota heads.
Truly.
Eliminated was Jamie, unfortunately, which sucks and goes back to Brother's initial point of like, you can't be afraid to stand your ground in a group challenge. When somebody tells you how to cook your food, you can't just take their word,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a big, big bummer. And then just quickly going through Last Chance Kitchen, we are big Kiki fans here, so we are rooting for Kiki all damn day. It was
Yeah.
Kiki versus Jamie. Say again.
So she's a pioneer. She country is special.
I was so excited to see Food from the Congo on the show. I'd never seen that before, and I wanted to see so much more. Kiki and Jamie battle it out over. This seemed so hard to me. Maybe brother, you can weigh in on this. They basically played a game of chicken over how many parts of a chicken they could include in a dish, and Jamie was like, I can do the liver. Kiki said, I can do the oyster. Jamie said, I can do the skin. Kiki said, I can do the feet. Jamie said, I can do the thigh. So then now they have to make a dish in 25 minutes that includes liver, oyster, skin, feet, and thigh.
Feet in 25 minutes?
Is that possible?
You got to get that pressure cooker going.
And then just fry the shit out of them.
Oh my God. I was like, are you allowed to stop them and be like, hey, actually, you can't?
Yeah.
Wait, actually, don't do this. Yeah. Kiki gets a stock going of a bunch of these parts, which I support as an idea, but I think is not maybe totally embracing the challenge. She also accidentally uses a drumstick instead of a thigh. I screamed, which sucks. I also wish Tom would leave everybody alone during Last Chance Kitchen.
Absolutely.
He's so much more fun. He messes with on LCK where he doesn't do it on the show. So he intentionally would walk by and be like, so what you doing? And they're stand in your way. And you're like, dude, I'm working.
It's nice that you guys get to be cheeky because I am oh my God, please leave her alone during this whole segment.
So much on Last Chance Kitchen because it's the thing that most people don't realize is Last Chance Kitchen filmed in 1 day, 2 days. So they let 10 contestants get eliminated, and then they take all 10 of them and then they put them in the studio on a day where everybody's off. So you're filming nonstop, back to back. So I think for me, I filmed 6 episodes in a row.
Oh my God.
Okay,
this is actually
just thinking about it.
This is a crucial bombshell because my friend Mike Trapp and I have theorized about how when they film Last Chance Kitchen and how, because also we're those eliminated contestants just sit here for weeks, just watching other people cook. That is incredibly telling, and I cannot believe how much of that you had to do in how many days in a row. That's absolutely.
And Joe Flam talked about is because you get eliminated, you go live on the offsite hotel wherever you're staying at, Marriott Town Suites or whatever. And you're all living together. You all got your own hotel room, but you're all living together. And you're still sequestered. You still don't have a phone. You still don't have access to the public, but you're living hotel life.
Yeah.
So, the thing that me and Flan were talking about one night was Carrie's tired, Chris is tired, Adrian's tired, Sasta was tired. Whoever it comes down to, me or Joe, is going to win the show because they are so burnt. They've been in the house this whole time. We've been chilling for the last 2-3 weeks. So you're able to come back from Last Chance Kitchen at number 5 and you can just run the gauntlet. It's a very realistic thing. Wow. So I think that's something that, you kind of have to pay attention to is somebody who come in, all they had to do was wait for that one battle and then they work their way through however many in 1 day. And then the next day they get to go right back into the house and they're fresh, right? I've talked to my family, had a chance to look at some of my recipes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to, but everyone does. So,
Okay. Wow, that is incredible LCK intel. We love that.
We love that.
Because it is sort of in an amorphous, it's in a different time and space the way they film it, kind of. It's darker, it's in a different area.
Now it's 1 day. So everybody's sitting back there in little room waiting for their chance to go. So I was the first round against 2. And I remember telling Fatima, I was like, I'll see you when you get in, because she was the last one kicked off. And sure enough, when it came down to her coming in as who you gonna battle, she was like, it's brother. And she knew it was gonna be me standing there because I told her, and that was 5 rounds in.
Wow, that's truly incredible. The dishes made in this little Last Chance kitchen, Kiki made a chicken drumstick, should have been a thigh, whatever, and fennel napa cabbage slaw with a stock of all the other parts. Jamie made a chili chicken feet stock with red curry and grilled chicken thighs, liver mousse, and a baguette for dipping. Jamie ends up taking it, which is a bummer for Kiki. I do like Jamie.
I like Jamie too. I just really love Kiki.
I really love Kiki.
Go further.
Yes.
But I'm happy for Jamie too, because she also seems great.
And who knows? Sometimes they do really kooky Last Chance kitchens where it seems like they'll do like 2 different ones in a season.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
They've been playing around with the template for a while now. I've been watching slowly evolve where like veterans are coming in or they're doing 2 seasons of LA and then in the middle of it they stop and bring people back.
Yeah.
You never do with this first batch. Usually it's like I think around like week 7 or 8 is usually when if they're gonna do it, they'll sneak that LCK person in because they did announce they're going to do a double elimination. So it kind of sets it up for somebody to come back in.
Okay. There's science to this. Well, incredible. I thought this was a really fun episode. It felt like a pandemic episode, not because you could tell they did all these COVID things, but it felt like, listen, we're down for something kooky, right? We're down for Padma's down, right? It felt very, very cool and creative and fun. Oh yeah, Christine pointed out, Tom said that the winner of Last Chance Kitchen next week will be going back into the competition, which is pretty cool. So it's going to be Jamie or
whoever gets kicked.
Yeah.
Who do you think it's going to be? If you had to guess, knowing nothing, who would you guess?
Okay, knowing absolutely nothing and keeping in mind I'm terrible at guessing. Interesting. I feel like Gabriel?
That's what I was going to say.
To win the whole show? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no.
Be eliminated this upcoming week and go into Last Chance Kitchen to battle Jamie.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's going to be a double elimination, so you're going to have 2 people get kicked off.
Ooh, maybe.
Catch that in the preview. So.
Okay.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Who knows? Because I feel like people like Avishar, like I was worried for him in the beginning, but I'm like, when Avishar plays to his strengths as knowing a lot about the science of food, not necessarily molecular gastronomy, but when he just really gets to be thoughtful, he seems to crush it. So it really is such a gamble. And like Chris, you can see him very clearly discovering the things he likes about Haitian cooking on the show.
Yeah. A lot of I think they've done a good job of that in the last, because like our Colorado season was very rustic. Like all of us were very seasoned chefs. I mean, the thing that I also think is really unique too is I think our season was one of the first seasons where like everybody had done television. Like we had all been on Chopped, we had all been on Beat Bobby Flay, we had all done the circuit. So like we were experienced, and then you throw in someone like Tanya who's been on TV the last 20 years. Like we're all very experienced television personalities. When you look at Kentucky, not a lot of people had much experience. I think Justin might have done like Iron Chef America, but there wasn't a lot of experience there. But they were really refined. There was a lot of Michelin backgrounds in that season, that Kentucky season. So I think you're seeing the same thing in this season. So much refinement between like 11 Madison Park and I worked for Wiley Dufresne, and you're seeing a lot of that mention here. So I think you'll continue.
Yeah.
Brother, we have 2 questions. The first one is, who is your Top Chef best friend?
My Top Chef best friend. I'm really close with Chris from my season in Colorado. Really proud of him still opening up his new deal, his new biscuit shop.
Yeah.
Got a good relationship with Flam. My wife and I just flew out to Chicago to support Flam for his 2 weeks ago, so that was cool. Obviously, Carrie's out here, so I see her a lot. My brother too, love to. We both from Oakland, so shouts out to the homie. I mean, we all close. I mean, I think our season's really uniquely close because we lost one, you know,
Yeah.
and that's something that's so different than the other seasons is that we all went through something very traumatic.
Yeah, I think you can tell that as a viewer that Top Chef Colorado has like a very close knit atmosphere, even when you guys are on air. And then if you follow the chefs from that season, you do see that you guys are all really close, and it's really nice to see just a bunch of nice people, nice people cooking. Yeah. What was the second question, Jordan?
If you had done this elimination challenge, what category would you have picked and what would you have made? I know you said you would have picked horror. What would your dish have been? Because what we do is we pair it against the dish that actually won, and then people vote on which one they'd rather eat.
I would have done horror. I would have done something with beets, something that would have been smoked and splattered. Um, Maybe some kind of like, you know, crazy shining type presentation, you know, just gone hard with it. But I think beets would have been a good medium to represent that speckle that you need, kind of create that crime scene.
Ooh, you
Absolutely.
know I'm voting for that, Jordan. I'm a beat freak. Um,
She loves me.
One last thing, brother, before we go. Oh, I get the okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, my producer said it's okay to tell you that you are a top chef.
Hey,
A
hey,
lot
never
of
gonna.
people don't know this, but that's the two ways you can become top chef
Yeah.
are win the TV show Top Chef or be a guest on the live stream YouTube visual podcast Talk Chef.
Either way, an Indian woman's telling you you're top chef, and that's basically what it boils down to. Brother, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, guys, if you want to donate to our charity for this season, Heart of Dinner, Jordan's info is in the chat at JORDANMYR1CK. And brother, where can people find you, or where can they dine on your delicious food?
Yeah, I'm at Chef Brother Luck across the board on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. You can also check me out here in Southern Colorado, Colorado Springs. I got a couple restaurants down here, Lucky Dumpling, or Brother Luck. We're getting ready to open our new culinary studio as well. We're going to be hosting a lot of private events. But yeah, man, just, check me out on YouTube as well. We're starting to really launch a lot of really good conversations there, which are going to then lead into some more live cooking streams. So stay tuned.
Awesome. We'll definitely be watching those.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we will see you next week for a double elimination. I don't know if my heart can take it, to be honest.
All right, y'all stay strong and we'll see you next week.